Hi there, and welcome back to the podcast that must not be named. This is Melissa.
This is Luke.
And we are here discussing book number 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, chapter number 18, Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs. This chapter was an enormous 9 pages long, which is 2.91% of the book, and is the 4th shortest chapter of the entire series. Quite a big one here.
And now, a voice of the Imaginary Legion.
Hi, this is Adrienne Aaron from the Archaeopolitics podcast, bringing you the chapter summary for chapter 18, Moony, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Aaron, take it away.
So here's what goes down in this chapter. Harry, Hermione, and Ron are locked in the Screaming Shack with Professor Lupin and Sirius Black, who have just accused Ron's pet Scabbers of actually being the deceased Peter Pettigrew. Angling to commit the murder he'd long been imprisoned for, Sirius urges Lupin to tell the trio the truth, but to do it quickly. Lupin launches into the tale of how he became a werewolf, coming to Hogwarts and becoming best friends with James, Sirius, and Peter, who learned how to illegally become animagi in order to help Lupin through his monthly transitions. Lupin tells the trio he too believed Sirius had been the one to have killed Peter all those years ago, until he saw his name appear on the Marauders map, an object that never lies. Nearing the end of his tale, Lupin confesses his guilt at not having told Dumbledore Sirius's ability to transform into a dog, thus being able to sneak in and out of Hogwarts, and the group is thusly discovered by Severus Snape.
This chapter, to me, is about prejudices that we have against people with certain diagnoses, ailments, and afflictions. It's about the power of prejudice to turn people against each other, neglect those left most vulnerable, and inadvertently create dangerous situations. It's also about how our appearances are deceiving, especially, as we'll find out later on, in the case of Scabbers.
To me, this chapter is also about the power of community and how certain situations, issues, or positions someone might be in can be alleviated, helped, or nurtured by having people that are willing to do something or put themselves perhaps in a position that they mightn't otherwise have been in order to help that person, and the power to make that situation less dangerous through friendship, through an understanding of one another.
Yeah, I think that's about it. And I can't wait to hear what Luke and Melissa are going to say about this.
Didn't see any character introductions.
No, because all the same people stayed in a room.
There's 5 people all in a room the whole time? 6. It's 6 plus a cat. 7 by the end.
Yeah.
We know them all.
True. There's people.
We've met them all.
We've been there.
No new locations.
No.
We same place the whole time.
Yep.
New magicabulary though.
Okay.
We've got the official name for the anti-werewolf potion
Cure thing.
Mentality correction. The Wolfsbane potion.
That's a good name.
Yeah. Yes.
Big fan.
The bane of the werewolf.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
All right, let's talk about the picture or illustration if you want to use fancy reading words. Looks like a dog.
Looks like a dog. I'd imagine that's Sirius.
I would, which is funny to me because he isn't technically a dog in this chapter ever.
Right.
It's more like they really wanted to put a picture of the dog in there.
I think so. And they had to show the tree last time.
Well-
does the tail match the last chapters?
I think so. It's pretty bushy
It's close.
and long. Here's my other thing. They're just sitting in a room talking. So it's not like they have a lot they could illustrate of sitting around and having a chat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
Let's jump into some notes. Luke, what'd you think?
I really liked the way Lupin forces Black to try to explain what's going on, as opposed to just outright killing the rat. Lupin really says, wait, you can't just do it like that. They need to understand. We've got to explain. They've got a right to know everything. Ron's kept him as a pet. There are parts even I don't understand. And Harry, you owe Harry the truth, Sirius. It's just well stated.
See, whereas I totally took Sirius's side and I was like, I think it's hysterical that he's waited all these years and he's like, fine, I'll do it, but you better hurry up because I'm not waiting anymore. And he can't get to killing Pettigrew fast enough. I find his responses to Lupin hysterical.
Oh, yeah, no, it's perfect on character. Like,
oh, yeah.
the reaction, perfect. But at the same time, if they just killed this rat with no proof that it was Peter Pettigrew, like, or whatever.
Right. I'm just going to kill this rat. Oh,
they
yeah,
just have
I'm totally clear.
In their heads, maniacal, crazy, Sirius Black. I'm going to kill that rat. I'm going to kill that rat. And he killed the rat.
You
and then he just
dirty rat.
goes off into the sunset. Like, what?
Right. What's he going to do now? You just killed a rat. Where are you going to go next? I bet it's not Disneyland.
Right. How does our trio cope with that over time?
Right.
Was he really a guy? Like, what happened?
I'm gonna need some proof. Like,
yeah, there's no closure if he just kills the rat.
This is true. Oh my goodness. So can I just, Hermione for the nerd win in this chapter, knowing how many animagi there were in the century, like, she's like killing it with the questions. It just, every time they turn around, they're like, okay, she's like, but what about this? Well, wait, what about this? She's just so bright.
Yeah. No, I really like the way she gets to, to that point. And, even with that, I think it's smart that the Ministry of Magic kind of, has this animagi registry. What do you think?
I don't disagree that
I can be convinced either way,
good
honestly.
idea. I see maybe I don't see the purpose. I don't know. What's the purpose? What do you think the purpose is?
Well, I think you have to look at it in a security mentality of if you have someone that can turn into a bear and you don't know that and they just show up and rob a bank as a bear. I don't know. It's like, at least you'd be like, it was a bear. We know who can turn into a bear. It's probably them. They probably robbed the bank. It was probably them.
See, and then that gets into the whole privacy issue. And so
I'm not saying it's not #problematic in spots.
Right. I'm thinking like it could totally be a thing. I take it from a different angle. My angle is you had 3 students who totally figured out how to do it without being on the list. So if they can do it, how come other people aren't? What's the point of registering yourself if you can just do it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't either. Tabled.
We'll have to, let's revisit that.
Done. What else you got?
Right along with that, Harry had barely time to marvel inwardly at the effort Hermione put into her homework when Lupin started to laugh. And then they go on to, kind of discuss how the 3 of them were animagus. But, I just think that's pretty funny that he didn't even have time to marvel inwardly at the effort. It's a good Harry, friend moment, I think.
Oh, very much. But it just ties into, does anybody put that much effort into homework? I can't imagine. See, that's where I get stuck.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it could be a pretty naturally curious thing. Like, oh, we're learning about, this skill of, it seems pretty difficult to do. It's apparently hyper impressive when McGonagall does it in general, is what we learn. And so you'd think Hermione would want to know more about it. Like, hey,
true.
How many people can do this? Like, is this a lot more common than...
And how do I pull this off?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I could see her being that interested in doing it.
Well, maybe not after last year.
Academically, I think she'd be interested in knowing how to do it.
Right. The academic, theory behind it. Yeah. Maybe not the practicality of doing it.
Right.
Okay.
But I think it's natural for her curiosity to do that little bit of extra research.
Yes.
In all of her free time this year.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Just think how much better her year would have been if she didn't go into this extra depth in every single thing.
Right.
Just take it easy. You'd probably be just fine.
If you would just float. I don't think she knows how to do that.
No, she doesn't.
Oh, well.
But that's okay. And we also learned that the 3 boys, the Marauders,
if you will.
As we'll call them from now on, which the show or the movies never really discuss, which is funny. We'll get there. They finished their animagi training in 5th year. I know we kind of, in one of our unrestricted sections, mentioned that, but it's confirmed here.
Okay. Excellent. I mean, we have don't listen to those, but do if you are like us. But okay. Anyway, yes.
If you are like us or you like us, go ahead and listen to those.
They like us. They really like us. Let's talk about the Shrieking Shack. So it was a werewolf hideout, eh?
That's what we're learning.
I have concerns. First of all, why did they think the Shrieking Shack was a safe place to stash a fully grown werewolf?
Because they can lock the doors from the outside?
But he's a freaking werewolf. Couldn't he?
A child werewolf.
It says fully grown werewolf.
But he was a child. I'm
it's
opening
a
the question
werewolf.
of how does that work?
I don't know, but he's a werewolf, and the walls are made of wood. It doesn't seem like a very well constructed shack. So
maybe the house is a witch. It's made of wood.
Turned me into a newt. Like, I just keep thinking, there's no way he couldn't get out of there.
He didn't. It's a magically enhanced wooden structure.
So it's a werewolf trap.
A werewolf sanctuary. It's all how you spin it.
Oh, it's like Oz on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and they locked him in a cage whenever he turned into a werewolf. So similar? Okay.
Yeah, it's a cage.
Except a very large cage with a second floor.
Right. And we learned that it was dangerous for him. You know, he didn't have anything to chew on, so he ended up
Except
scratching
for all the furniture that's everywhere.
and himself. It
Yeah,
says that
I know, that's pretty bad.
he bit and scratched himself. I mean, that's,
Poor Loopy.
yeah, kind of. It's sad.
It is. Speaking of Lupin feeling bad, he felt very guilty about not telling Dumbledore about his 3 Animagus friends. To me, this was very, very similar to the guilt Harry felt for like a split second when the twins gave him the map. They both knew the right thing was to report these because of the safety and security of the people, of themselves and the people around it. Mm-hmm. But they both decided not to report them because it might impact their own personal, like, fun and entertainment and not necessarily well-being, but like Lupin says, that every month we would be planning our next adventure. And so I would forget because it was more important to me in that moment to have fun with my friends. And I think that's the same way Harry felt with the map. Like, yeah, I should maybe turn this in case this is how Black is getting in, but it's more important for me in the moment to be able to experience this with my friends. So to me, that was just a very parallel moment between the two.
I completely agree with that. And in addition to that, doing that said right thing implicates your friends and gets them in trouble.
And yourself.
Well, not even necessarily yourself, because
True, not in
Harry's,
those 2 instances.
Yeah, for both of these, like, neither one of Harry or Lupin did anything wrong. They just got the thing. But if they hand over the information, it gets their friends in trouble. And
True.
Like me as Harry, I didn't ask them to give this to me or to steal it from Filch years ago. If I do this now, it's clear that they're going to get in trouble. Same thing with, the other 3 Marauders.
True.
So I completely agree. It's more fun for me to have this now and use it
And
than
I
turn it
wanna
in.
save my friends.
And I don't want to get my friends in trouble
Got
for
it.
something that I didn't encourage them to do.
Right.
Because I think if they had a personal part in that, they would be more likely, do the just thing, and take ownership.
Because they made the mistake.
Right.
Lupin and Harry.
As opposed to turning in their friends for doing something.
I can see that.
So
Okay.
I think it still completely mirrors
I'm
for
with you.
both.
Okay. Hey, Luke.
Hey, Melissa.
I feel like you have some questions.
I feel like I do.
Is it a handful?
It's a handful. There are 5. And they are roasting on an open fire.
Sacrificial roasts.
Sacrificial hams, baby. If you could be an animagus, what would you be?
Owl.
Yeah, I could see that.
Done.
I could see that.
I don't even know why. It's like my spirit animal.
Okay. Now, have you taken the Patronus quiz on Pottermore?
I feel like I have, but I cannot remember what my Patronus is. So I'm going to look it up.
Because, and I don't think this is ever discussed, I'll just say it now, ever discussed in the series, but I believe that it's considered canon by some that whatever your Patronus turns into is also the same type of animal that you can turn into as an animagus. Like it's kind of linked together as a truly like a spirit animal. So Professor McGonagall's, I would assume her Patronus is a cat because she can turn into a cat. So that's why I asked what your Patronus was.
I'm looking.
Yeah.
I should know this.
If it's owl, I'll be so excited for you. I
It's
kind of doubt
not.
that it is, but
It's a polar bear, which is super random.
yeah, I don't feel
It
like
doesn't really fit me at all.
I don't think so.
So it's the only thing that I really like.
Disagree with?
I do. Everything else I'm totally down with, you know. But that one, and I'm trying to look it up here to see. So give me a second while I load. How about you? What's your Patronus?
A gray squirrel.
See, that's so you.
I actually feel okay with that. Like it might seem really boring or whatever. I like squirrels. I think they're fun. They're energetic.
They also work really hard.
Oh, that's not me.
That's not true. That is. You always have projects going.
That's true. But yeah, no, and so I'd imagine I would, as an animagus, also turn into a gray squirrel.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of one of my favorite Disney movies of all time.
Is it The Sword and Stone?
It sure is. And I
See,
love that
it's one
scene.
of my
when,
least favorites.
when Merlin and young Arthur turn into squirrels. I love that scene.
See, the scene when they turn into fish freaked me out. So I don't like that movie.
That's fair.
All
That's
right.
a little scarier.
How about another question?
Question 2. Why didn't Lupin bring the map with him to provide further evidence?
I don't know, but that's
Bring
a
the map
great
with
point.
you, people.
I
Always bring the map.
I feel like this has been our theme. You keep the map with you.
You keep the invisibility cloak with you.
It would solve so many problems.
Oh, wait. There's someone we can't find? Oh, he's on the map that shows everybody in the castle. He's right here. He's walking this way. Head him off. Like, no, keep it with you.
Get out the map.
You have two of the most impressive magical artifacts
Ever.
that we've seen,
Ever.
including magic wands. I get it. Like, that's cool too. But bring them with you. Come on, people.
Yeah, bad choice. Bad choice. I'm with you. All right.
Question 3. Was it irresponsible of Dumbledore to have a werewolf child at Hogwarts? And also then as a professor?
I feel like this falls under Dumbledore's trusting people thing.
Okay. Does that mean it's irresponsible?
No, I don't. I would say I wouldn't. I don't know. Okay, I'm really trying to think this through because I don't want to seem exclusionary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of Dumbledore's greatest strengths is that he is one to include people of difference.
Sure.
There's not a lot of segregation in Dumbledore's world. So, of course, you would include the sect of people that happen to have this one part of them that wasn't perfect, as we all have a part that's not perfect.
Right.
On the other hand, I also wouldn't want the doors of Hogwarts to be open to any magical child that had, well, see, no.
Yeah, careful.
No. See, this is why I was hesitant, because you would want him to think, okay, I'll let you in if you prove yourself worthy. But at the same time, at 11, what are you going to say to this 11-year-old kid who might be in a bad mood because, yeah, he was bitten by a werewolf, maybe going to Hogwarts? So no, I think I would let him in.
Get bitten by a werewolf.
I think no matter what, I would have let him in. Now, conversely, as a teacher, at that point, you can be more selective. You're not going to hire any person who's a werewolf just because they're a werewolf. You're going to hire the person who's a good teacher, regardless of their background.
Correct.
So Lupin was hired because he's a good teacher who happens to be a werewolf. It's not like Dumbledore hired a werewolf who also happened to be a right.
And just, somehow they were a good teacher.
Who was not trying to fill some sort of quota.
Right. That's well said.
Okay.
And I completely agree with it. I don't think it's irresponsible for, any child. If they have the magic background, they should have their chance, to come to the school. And maybe the security measures are potentially a little questionable. The Shrieking Shack, I don't know. Potentially. Not for me to judge, but I think it's good that Lupin got his chance. Question 4. What kind of animal do you think James could turn into?
Okay, well, his name is Prongs, which makes me think of forks.
Okay. And we also know that it was a large animal, large enough to help a large dog kind of keep a werewolf in check.
So there are lizards and snakes that have forked tongues, but I'm kind of assuming that those aren't large enough.
Yeah, depends.
I am going to go with some sort of animal with a cloven hoof, such as a goat or an antelope.
Okay.
Because the hooves are split into 2 toes or forked. So therefore prongs. I'm going to go with goat. No,
Okay.
I like antelope. Antelope.
Okay. Could an antelope fit through the tunnel that we talked about going to the Shrieking Shack?
I don't know.
I think a goat could.
I think a goat could. Or a gazelle. That's another one that fits.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I think antelope sounds funnier.
Yeah.
I pick antelope. How about you?
Antelope in Britain. I'm going to go antelope. I like it.
Excellent.
I'm on board.
I feel like I used some good sense of
Yeah.
deduction and using my background knowledge. Okay.
Process of elimination.
There you go.
Question 5. Will Snape forgive Lupin for his part in the plot Sirius and James pulled on him?
Well, it's been 20 plus years and he hasn't yet, so my guess is no.
But he overhears this story, you know.
He does. Have you met Snape?
Hi, I'm Snape. Have you met me?
No. 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 No.
Yeah,
no.
I don't think he's going to either.
Hey, Luke,
Hey, Melissa.
you got a favorite line?
I sure do.
Yay.
And I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to read through it again.
Harry had barely had time to marvel inwardly at the effort Hermione had put into her homework when Lupin started to laugh. Right again, Hermione, he said, but the Ministry never knew that there used to be 3 unregistered animagi running around Hogwarts.
I like 2 big things of this. One, what we discussed earlier, Hermione and her commitment to doing homework and doing good research and being naturally curious. I really like that in her. You know, that's one of her key characteristics. And it's just nice to see that even Harry gets that and appreciates that about her.
Mm-hmm.
And also like the way that this mystery or like this new bit of crazy information that these 3 other students learned how to do this thing to go help their friend that they knew had a big problem, you know? And I think that's just neat. You know, it's very nice and tidy and, just good friendship on many different levels here.
I agree.
So what was your favorite line?
My favorite line was this.
That's right, sneered a cold voice from the wall behind Lupin. Severus Snape was pulling off the invisibility cloak, his wand pointed directly at Lupin.
Snape for the awesome chapter cliffhanger.
2 awesome cliffhangers in a row.
That were so good they were favorite lines.
Yeah. No, that's
Big fan.
another. What is going on in these chapters? Like, gee, holy cow.
Like every time you turn around, something else.
Big surprise. Oh my gosh. Bigger surprise. Oh my gosh. Big surprise. Are we done yet? Nope. There's more.
Because we're still in the Shrieking Shack.
This is still the same day from 3 chapters ago.
Yeah, like spoiler alert,
This is
friends.
exam
We're on
day
chapter
still.
18.
This is
just so
exam
you
day
know,
still.
this entire 5-chapter series, same day.
Yeah. Same day still.
Same day. 1 day more. Whew. Alrighty. How about an MVP?
I'm going to pick Hermione, basically for everything that we've already talked about, her natural curiosity and how it shows up in this chapter and how it led her to figure out that their teacher has been a werewolf. Like, what do you do with that information?
Well, she doesn't tell anybody.
I know. And it's nice to see that she's, you know, given him that chance. And it's a little flipped on its head here, you know, and last chapter, which I think is completely reasonable. So that's kind of where I'm at with it.
All right. My honorable mention is Lupin for good storytelling.
Yeah.
Because he's like exposition extraordinaire
Yes.
here. So,
Exposition Corner with Remus Lupin.
and now the weather.
And now the weather with Remus Lupin.
Hey, guess what?
What?
We're done with this chapter.
Woo!
But not this day.
Not this day.
Because
Today
this
is-
day is not the day that ends at chapter 18. It goes on for a while. It's the day that never ends in the Harry Potter world. But in the meanwhile, you can find us until we talk about the next part of today on Twitter at Not Named Podcast, at our website, thepodcastthat.com. You can find us at YouTube. You can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Spotify. You can even email us at thepodcastthat@gmail.com.
Visit our website, check out the cool stuff that we have there in our store, curated items specifically for you, for Harry Potter fans out there. A huge special thanks to the Accio Politics girls. Aaron and Adre killed it, and you would have recognized their voices from our bonus episode a couple weeks ago. So thank you very much for your guys' effort on this chapter for us.
Be sure to check out their podcast at Aciopolitics. Join us next week when we discuss Chapter 19.
The Servant of Lord Voldemort. Stay imaginary.
Thanks.
Harry Harrily,
we roll along.
All right. Harrily. You'd think I was trying to do that.
This is not the podcast where you're supposed to be silly like that. It's the other show.
I know. Here at the podcastthat.com family of podcasts, we have a lot of really exciting things going on. So mark July 1st, 2018 on your calendar for a big announcement. Here's a quick teaser of some of the cool upcoming things we have in store for you.
Hello and welcome to the podcast that must not tell lies.
This is a spoiler-filled Harry Potter podcast from within the Department of Mysteries, where myself, Luke, and Alex are unspeakables, and we are going to twist fan theories and magical theory to suit facts in J.K. Rowling's magical world of Harry Potter. Today's theme, we're going to start a series on the life and lies of Albus Dumbledore. Alex, what topic are we talking about?
The topic we're talking about today is that Albus defeated Grindelwald because he killed Ariana. Now, obviously, there's a lot more to that, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, I think we're probably going to be touching on a lot of other theories that will require supporting episodes on our part to kind of unravel as we go.